Temuwola sitooko nze mbabuulira. No credits. Very big business mistake, especially for small business owners.
Elaborate, look in the camera and tell them.
Temuwola store.
Entrepreneurs, business people, once again, welcome to the podcast Diaries of an Entrepreneur. We are excited to be having you today. This is another episode where we get to learn from our very own business owner. You know, this is a space where we get to where we get to hear people's experiences. How has it been for them in the business industry? What are some of the things they survived? What killed them and what didn't kill them? What are some of the disciplines that have enabled them to develop a strong muscle over time? Before you watch, please, if you've not subscribed, try and subscribe. Ask a friend to subscribe. We need to build a community of our own as business owners where we get to, encourage each other, lift each other, and, keep going, because at times you may think you're the only one going through something, but after hearing an experience, you're like, you know what, I can move on. And today with me on set, we have an amazing lady I call her Sasa Bells. She's going to be telling us that she really Sasa Bells, what are her names, what does she do, what do we know her for? Sasa, welcome to the podcast Diaries of an Entrepreneur.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing our invites.
It's a pleasure.
We are excited to hear from you. For someone who is watching for the first time, who is Sasa?
Sasa is a serial entrepreneur. Sasa is majorly known to be the CEO of Sasa Babies and More, which is a baby store. But within Sasa Babies and More, we have got 3 different businesses, one of which is the Sasa Babies and More, of course. Then we have the Sasa Bells. And then we have what we call the Sasa Maternity Wear. So those are 3 in 1. Yes, 3 in 1 businesses.
Sasa, how does your business story begin? How does your business journey start?
My business journey started quite a time ago, because since I was a child, I have always wanted to be a business person. I have always thought self-employment. I have always thought to ride on me being my own boss. So I have done quite a number of businesses in my life. I started by starting out a small canteen. I was in my senior 6 vacation. I ran a canteen in a primary school. Yeah, and my capital was quite small. My capital was about $10, but I was able to multiply this capital that at the end of my vacation, which was about 7-8 months, I had a very good saving to build me up after university. And then from there, when I came to the university, I am enterprising. Anything you put before my face, I'll sell. I can even sell you sand. I can put you up for a good price, yeah. So I joined the university, and of course, we are trained as children, go to school, study very hard, and get a very good job. So when I came out of the university, the job hunting started. But as a qualified statistician, and the job situation in Uganda, my country, it wasn't really matching, because in my country, it's where you graduate as a statistician, and you end up as a receptionist.
I hear you.
Yes, you graduate as an engineer, and you end up as a boda rider. So it was not really matching. So I was employed for just about 8 or 9 months. And then I hit the street. Yes, I hit the street. I tried a number of things while in the street until eventually when COVID hit. And when COVID hit, that is when Sasa was born. Sasa was born in such a way that I took my daughter to buy some clothes for her. And when I reached the place where they were selling these clothes, I realized that these things were very beautiful. And being an enterprising person, I thought to myself, if I can get this for my daughter, then everybody else around me who has a child will be interested in this idea. And that's exactly how Sasa gets birthed. Still, I did not have the capital. But I personally believe that financial capital, like very many people see it, is not what it exactly is. Capital can be you as a person, the enterprising person. It can be a dream. So for me, my capital was me being an enterprising person, because I literally had less than $10 in my pockets, but I was able to start picking out some clothes. And I started looking out for, first of all, the people that knew Sasa. So I was already a mother of one, and I had friends that were also mothers of one or two. So I started walking out to them one at a time. I would tell them I have some clothes. If you invited me for a birthday party, I would come with clothes in my car. I kept on calling them one at a time. I have got some clothes that I am selling. This would be very beautiful for your daughter. And I matched out to them, and they supported me. But that is just the warm market. You cannot sustain business on the warm market. Now I had to move outside my box, and that is when I embraced social media, which was very prominent at that point, Facebook. So I joined women groups on Facebook, and I was able to post in those groups whatever I was selling. Even if the group said it was charging for you to sell in their group, I would pay the subscription. And I was able to post my items in those places, and I started running around. Of course, it was delivery because I did not have a shop. My house was my store. So if you asked me for something, I would put it in the car and then come to you. I make the sale and then go back home. That was COVID, so it was very convenient in COVID. People were not able to move. But after COVID, when people were allowed to move, the question of where are you located started coming up. So I would still post on my statuses on Facebook, but the question of where are you located was too loud to ignore. So that is how I ended up starting out in what we call now the fully traditional business, where you wake up and open up a shop. I was afraid of rent because I had never paid serious rent in my life. So I started looking out for a business house. The first location, I was along Kamoli Road somewhere, and I got a container. A container, it was a 40 feet divided into 4 rooms. I was able to get my first container space, yes. My first container space, which was my first physical location where clients could eventually come through and purchase. So I continued the marketing. So if you wanted a delivery, you would get it.
But also you had a physical location.
But I also had a physical location. So if you asked where are you located, you would still find me somewhere. And I was able to build on that. And then I also would market, and someone would request a product, and I don't have that product in stock. So what I would do, I would call someone that has that product. I tell them, can I have this product? Of course, I would put a margin of about 5,000 or 10,000. They would give me the product. I take it to the customer. Of course, they would give it to me on credit because my capital was still
wanting.
Yeah, I was still wanting. So they would give it to me on credit. I would deliver it to the customer. If you took it, I would profit. If you did not take it, I wanted to keep the trust and to keep the confidence in the people that were supplying me. So I would really not return it to you. It would become a debt on my side. So I would pay it off and then keep it. So that is how my shelves started getting full. So I would never return anything, even if it was a customer reject, because I would think if this customer said no, another customer will
say yes.
Will say yes. So I built into that space. It was a very small space, but in a very short time, I was full.
So can I say that you believe that businesses are supposed to be grown organically?
businesses can be.
businesses to grow organically.
Yes, businesses can be grown organically. It's very possible. The only secret behind it that most people are not seeing is you have to market. Because even if you had all the stock with all the amount of money that you need to start with, if you don't market what you have, it still amounts to failing. Yes. So I grew organically like that, and in a short space of time, I was not able to fit my stock into that place. And I was forced.
The business forced you to grow.
Yes, the business forced me to grow. They say that if you put, if a fish outgrows a pond,
You have to get a bigger pond for it.
yes, you have to
Creating
get
a
a
lake.
exactly, because if you don't get that bigger pond for it, in Luganda bagamba egenda kona, it's supposed to grow to a certain size, but it will not grow to that size. Why?
Getting a smells.
Yes, because it wants to expand, but you're not allowing it to. So I responded to nature's call, and I was able to shift my business to a bigger, yes, to a bigger place.
How was it in that time as you're trying to grow your business, as you're trying to expand? How was it that along the journey? Because, you know, like business, I always look at business as if it's a baby. Like you said, it grows, it grows, it grows, it grows. But at times when you're nurturing a child, when you're nurturing a business, you're trying to understand, can this baby eats avocado? Does this baby like Irish? No, you're trying to understand the baby, and you keep now tending to do what the baby loves. How was it growing your baby? How was it growing that Sasa business to an extent of now it's time for us to?
The journey of growth, being a first timer that understood that marketing is the engine, I didn't have so much challenge growing in that small space. But when I was now shifting to the bigger space, that is where now I started making the big business mistakes. That of course costed me. I was paying rent of about 150,000 UGX
In the first place.
in the first place. And then I am now looking for a bigger space. I moved everywhere you can imagine, and I ended up finding a space that was costing me over 700,000.
From 150
From 150 to 700. That is one of the biggest business mistakes I made, because I literally moved myself to over times 4 what I was initially paying. I did not see it, but eventually it led to some struggles. Of course, I moved to a bigger space. It was interesting. It was all looking beautiful.
Surface was looking better.
Everything was looking very amazing, and I had a lot of money that I had profited from the smaller space. So I now move into the bigger space, and after some months, about a year, now the effects of the rent started coming down on the business. Yes, like we all know, businesses have got seasons. All businesses, by the way. There are peak seasons, and there are times when things are not just happening. So if I had cut my cloth accordingly, I think I wouldn't struggle, because in the peak season, I would be able to pay the rent. But when the season went down, rent became a challenge. And then when the season would peak again, I would find myself in a position whereby I had to first pay the rent arrears. So continuously like that, I was able to eat into my stock because I was trying to manage the location.
And the operational expenses.
Yes, and also one of the other challenges I got was the challenge of not embracing technology as fast as I could. Yes, and I did not really get it, because I thought I was doing everything it took for the business.
To market that business.
Exactly. And yet I was not doing enough.
What do you mean by we're not doing enough?
They say if you do not change,
Change will change.
Change will change you. If you don't embrace technology, you're going to be left behind. So the world had shifted
To TikTok.
to TikTok. The world had shifted from organic marketing, where you wake up in the morning, open your shop, and wait. You know, the world had shifted. But for some reason, I was still stuck.
You were still in ATS.
ATS. I was still stuck on Facebook and waiting on people to walk into my business. That is how the sales now started going down. And I did not notice it immediately. It took some time because I tried everything. I tried taking my stock out of the shop, and I ventured into markets. If you know the mubulos, those
Take us slow. That's Titwale take us slow. So the business at one point failed, collapsed.
yes, like collapsed under the bridge.
You closed the business.
Exactly.
So I want to know, at what point did you realize I'm giving up? Chino chiganyi chichad. At what point do you realize, okay, I'm letting this go? Because you sound, when you're telling your story, you sounded so passionate at first. You're getting it. You're growing your marketing. So at what point do you wake up and you're like, I'm washing my hands, I'm done? What was that one major thing that led to that? Because that's a very huge decision with someone to relate.
Yes. As I was continuing to push the business, I would wake up to days where I would completely have no sale. It was a bit weird for a shrewd business person like I know I am. So you wake up day 1 without sales, day 2 without sales, day 3 without sales. I'm continuing to push on Facebook, of course. Then I'm picking my stock out of the shop. I am taking it to the markets, the Mugulo markets. They say there is a market in Chali Wajal.
And you go.
I show up with my stock. Wow. There is a market in Chireka. Market day in Chireka is, I think, Wednesday. I show up. There is a market in Seta. I would pick my stock and join the marketplace. It was still not working because the business formula for those people is completely different from the business formula I was using. And then when I continued trying to push, I would get some clients, but they were all coming from the online platform, which was Facebook. But physically, I wasn't seeing anybody coming through. I decided that, you know what, Sasa Babies and More has a section of both new and second hand. So we have the mother and newborn. We also have the second hand, which is the children clothing. So I said, now let me focus on the mother and newborn. I would leave my house by 4:35 and attack hospitals. I would attack hospitals. I would attack a hospital like Naguru, where the mothers come in for antenatal, but remember it's a government hospital, so mothers are there as early as 6 a.m. So I would be the first there so that every mother that comes, I give them
A mama kit.
the mama kit. We are selling this. I'm trying to advertise my business. I moved to different hospitals trying to ask for platform from the maternity section so that they can give my flyers and my item price lists to mothers so that when they are ready to shop, they can consider me. I did it all, but it still did not work because that is traditional. Like I said, if you don't embrace technology, you're going to be left. Yes. So at what point do I finally say, Chigani? After doing all that, I was forced to pay 2 different consultants. They came to my business, we shared. I told them my journey, each of them independently. I told them my journey, and each of them agreed that I had done everything that I had
Done within your means.
and they cannot think of anything that can pull me out of that situation. Meanwhile, the rent was accumulating. I was now coming to 4 months rent arrears, and eventually I accepted that I am not going to die. I am a graduate of economics and statistics. I remembered that part. So I said, no, I'm not going to die from the street. Yes, I said no. I packed all my things and took them back home. It was important.
Let me take you a little bit back. You just made a major statement. You are a graduate. We are looking at a graduate of economics in the markets, carrying, selling, under the sun. Not saying that it's a bad place to be. I don't want to be misquoted. Not saying it's a bad place to be. But how did that make you feel each time you woke up and you're in the market? Didn't you fear that stigma of maybe my OPs, maybe my OGs, maybe my alumni? Like, didn't you get that stigma? Did it affect like your self-esteem?
It actually affected me so much. And I always say, I have recovered from very many things, but I haven't recovered from that part. Because while I used to be in those marketplaces, someone that you know and someone that knows you and they have known you from a certain status finds you in that place, and I would do the ostrich thing. I would hide my head under my clothes, the clothes I was selling. So it affected me because sometimes we need to accept that, yes, it is okay to fall, but sometimes the fall is so hard. The fall was so hard for me. I have healed from many things, but every time I see people, because I still pass by those ladies and gentlemen in those places, putting out their stock under the sun, the dust, and I'm thinking, I also went through this.
The trauma. Okay, it's not trauma, but
it's traumatic. It's traumatic. Yes. I'm thinking, yes, I have. I struggled to build Sasa. That is the part I never thought would be part of the struggle. Yes. Yeah. So
after you closed, did you ever recover from, how did you come back to restart? And what's the journey between you, the whole process between you waiting, restarting, after closing, what was next? What happened next?
When I closed my business, that first night was the relief
Oh, I thought you'd be
of a
crying.
lifetime. I did not cry. I was relieved. I didn't have rent pressure. I didn't have no sales pressure. I was just thinking, what a morning where someone wakes up with no pressure. At least I had food to eat. Yes, at least I had food to eat. But of course, I wasn't closing down for giving up. I knew I would rebuild because I personally know that every success story has got some lines of failure in it. So I knew that that was just part of the journey. I did not rest for long. I rested for about 3 to 4 weeks. In those 3 to 4 weeks, I was actually looking for another location.
Hey.
But trying to look out for another location, rent is expensive in this city. Like, I was running away from 700,000, but I was finding 700,000 everywhere else, to 1 million, to 1.5. So I told myself, the best thing I can do, I can stay online, because in those 3-4 weeks I was resting and of course looking for another location. I still had my online customers ordering. I remember one of the challenges I had in the second space I rented was my sales kept on coming from online. So I was thinking, I'm already struggling to pay this rent, and yet there is nobody that knows even where I am located. So I decided I'm going to find a place cheap enough to be just a storage space for my stock. I didn't need a shop anymore. I did not need a display along the main road. I did not need that anymore. All I needed was storage for my stock, and I remain online. So I continued looking until I got a place that was about $80. But I found it as not as a shop,
As a storage.
as storage, actually as warehouse. I don't know if you guys, I think they are small warehouses, because it's at that point. Yes, at that point I realized I had a warehouse where It wasn't $80 is really little, man, honestly. Yes, it was about $70 or $80. Busente butono.
It's little money.
But at least I would wake up and leave home. Nganvaye waka. Nengenda mu store ku warehouse. Okasitoma nakugamba ndeetera eno package ya 600,000. Ndeetera eno package ya 300,000. So I was still making money in my warehouse, which wasn't expensive, and it is something I would tell a business owner right now. If you're struggling with rent, it's not worth it.
It's okay to downsize.
It's okay to downsize. Very okay to downsize.
There is a trend that we are seeing in the business industry today. A trend where people display. Is it display? They say display has become display. People are putting up really flashy. I love calling them flashy shops.
Yeah.
Like interior. You find someone has telling me they're investing over 40 million in interior. What is your take on that? People on interior of about 20 million, 30 million, 40 million.
Not necessary for a business that is still getting off the ground. Not necessary. Because from that warehouse of mine, that is when I took time to understand what was on TikTok. Because I would be on Facebook and they would import some clips of TikTok to Facebook. None of them were serious. It was about jokes and laughs and all. So while in that warehouse, I was forced to download a TikTok account, and I started going through the FYPs. And that's when I realized that actually people are building serious businesses on TikTok. It was hard for me initially because I was from the old age of Facebook. On Facebook, we never showed our faces. You just put your pictures there, run a video, and customers come. Now, on TikTok, it was a whole different experience where you have to show up with your face. So I gave it time, and eventually I decided I'm going to try this in my warehouse. So I would put my camera before me and I would record a video. Remember, business yali a good day. So I had stock, yes, but the stock wasn't
Stalking.
You know, my background would show that I have empty spaces on the shelf. But I would record that video. After all, who knew me on TikTok? Nobody knew me. So I would post that video. Wanata nene sirikira nganta naenze nine chikonfident kubanga when I look at those videos right now I'm like nali nkola chiwano. What was that?
Time tells a lot of things.
Exactly. Naye nga nteekako nenteeka yaka video kange nembagamba tuli mu bar restalkingira naye nga olaba omuntu ali ku restalkinga tewali pulaani naye nga video nziteekayo. I started building confidence. Then one time I restocked an item and I made one video which went viral
And changed you.
it changed everything literally. Okumanya nali ngudde nga n'okwogera location nga nswala, because how do you leave place X and go to place Y? It wasn't adding up. Nga mbeera ku video went nengamba location yaffe. At that point I would even laugh. But one video like this went viral and I delivered all the stock
That you had.
that I had.
Wow.
Deliver to Entebbe, deliver to town. Now, I'm selling something that can be found in town. But someone says deliver to in town, deliver to Entebbe, deliver to Mukono, deliver to where. It was just one video. And that is when I understood the power of TikTok, which is the new technology now.
Are you still on TikTok? Are you still in our warehouse? How does Sasa Babies and Mommy today?
Sasa Babies and More right now has multiplied to 3 spaces bigger, because my warehouse was just a small space. Right now, in a space of 1 year, I built I rebuilt in a space of 1 year. From where I had dropped and rented the warehouse to 1 year later, I now own a space that is 3 times bigger than the warehouse. And this space is still not enough. We actually
Looking for more space.
we are looking for more space. But this came after I embraced social media, specifically TikTok. I accepted that yes, I am old. I am the age of Facebook. I am the age of Twitter. I don't know, I am the age
We are
of
making
what?
money. We don't have age limits.
But now TikTok is the thing. So I accepted. Going viral today is normal for me. Literally, 90% of the videos I upload go viral. So the sales are amazing. Of course, I now have a team of people I work with because I can no longer do it alone. But still, my location did not change. I still did not look out for
The
fancy and all that. And the power of online is something we underestimate. But honestly speaking,
online has done the magic.
exactly, we underestimate it, but it can give you a 360-degree turn.
For someone who's out there, because you've talked about restarting, you're like, you know what, let me go back on the drawing board and get a new strategy, restarting, going small. Most of us will struggle with restarting. Even when you're failing, you still want to hang in there and cut yourself more deep because you feel like the world is going to judge. How will they see me? What would you tell someone who is out there and they're really struggling, like genuinely struggling? And the option for them would be restarting, but they're like, you know what, I'm not to do this, the world will judge. What words would you have for this, for someone like that?
I believe we are speaking to adults.
Yes. Of someone.
Mu bukulu teri kuswala. Mu bukulu teri kuswala. I will give an example of someone that I know that was holding on to something he felt he was very passionate about. But he had started a family, he has a wife, he has 2 children, and this passion is not paying him. At the end of the day, you need to understand that adulthood is not about pleasing anyone, but it is about organizing yourself to responsibly fit in society, because honestly, at the end of the day, you're trying to please people who do not care.
I know.
People do not care. If you know that people do not care, I want you to imagine the last funeral you attended. The people that were closest to that person moved on. The world does not stop for anyone. So the best thing you have to do for yourself is don't stop for yourself. Don't stop for anyone, but do things according to the situation that is surrounding you. It is okay to fail. I once asked a superior of mine a hard question because I was struggling and I made it clear to them that I am struggling. And I told them I cannot push further than this. It's not working. And he kept on insisting. He wanted the results from me. I told him no. I asked him, how old are you, sir? I asked him, for all the time you have lived, you have never failed in life. I asked him boldly because everybody in life has failed.
The most important person I would want to ask, is business money your man? Or is business money your man, or your money is business money?
Is business money my money?
You know, right now, if you're craving for pajamas, would you just, and someone has paid like a 50k on your phone, would you just grab like a 50k and then it's innocent as that?
No, I wouldn't do that. Not at all. Personally, I have learned through using systems to calculate how much profit I make. So my books of accounts and my records are as clear as daylight. If you paid me 50,000 on my phone and the item you took was stock in at 40,000, CJs will really not be happening. As simple and clear as that. Delayed gratification has helped me build my business so fast because I always have the money there. I can always bring in something timely. I don't have an excuse for that. Actually, nze ndi muyirivi mutuufu. It baffles me how people cannot negotiate. It baffles me.
People don't negotiate because it makes them look a certain way.
If the salon is doing hair at 200,000, I clearly cannot afford 200,000. Surprisingly, I can make a profit of 5 million per day, but I cannot have my hair done at 200,000. No. No, no.
Why?
Because honestly, it is not the most important thing right now. It's not. I can find a salon where I will spend 50,000 comfortably because I realize that my business needs to go to another level. And the best way to take my business to another level is to reinvest as much as I can.
So many questions running in my head right now because it's quite an interesting story. You talked about doing several business mistakes. What are some of those 3 top major business mistakes that you feel like no one should even go through this, or don't even take that route, don't even think about it?
Business mistake number 1 is not calculating the percentage of your business stock versus the rent that you have to pay. That is very important. One of my business mentors taught me that my rent should not be more than 10% my profit.
Wow.
My business rent should not be more than 10. Maximum, if it's really tough, then go for 15% of the profit, not of the gross sales. So that is one business mistake I made. I just went out to rent because I thought I had money at that time. Number 2, no credits. Temuwola sitoko zembabulira. No credits. Very big business mistake, especially for small business owners.
Elaborate, think in the camera and tell them.
Temuwola store. Always make sure that what you're bringing to the client is of quality, number 1. Number 2, have confidence as the business owner. Number 3, price appropriately. And number 4, do not give credit. Instead of because I have realized that most people give out credit simply because they are desperate to make a sale. That is the biggest challenge, where you feel like the client is going to go.
I feel like client is doing your favor.
Actually, yes, some of you even beg the client at the exit. And you say, Soko je, katulabe, chitegedde. It's not necessary. Invest in marketing. If they are not affording it, as long as you have priced it fairly, if they are not affording it, let them go. Invest in marketing so that as they walk out, someone is walking in. But don't give. Temuwola. The number 3 mistake that I made that costed me is not showing up for my business. Sometimes we think tuchikubye, nina abaana ku tiimu. You let them run your business. My dear, you are the vision bearer of that business. You are the engine of that business. Nobody knows how far you have come, and nobody knows how far you want to go. So yes, they say scale the business. When the business is scaled, the business has systems, it can run on its own. Show up. Show up as much
you're working online.
as you
So
can.
we put up the businesses, then we go home and we chill and we
And we put camera.
We put camera, yeah, to aluminum camera.
Which camera you're not even observing? You're watching Netflix. Be there, and for every step of the business, you should be able, you have to delegate if you have to grow. That is the truth. But you don't delegate and leave it like that. For example, yesterday, I was doing change of display. I reach every corner of my business. Every corner, I know I am not responsible for shop display. I don't do sales. My job in my business, I do marketing. But even when the team is doing sales, I am there. You will not speak to the customer wrongly. You will not be bullied by the customer because both sides can be wrong. I am there. So show up for your business. Especially if you do, for example, if you're doing goods and service, especially goods, you as the business owner know how you brought in this item. You gave the team a fixed price. But you know that sometimes this thing can still go out at this price and you go. If you're not there, the girl or the boy will tell the customer, it is 50,000. The customer says, I have 45,000. But you know that even at 45,000, you're okay. But because you're not there, but left an instruction, no sale at the end of the day. So those are the three: rent, credit, not showing up.
I'm going to ask this one in Uganda. Bank customer will gezi omuntu abakwata atya. Let me put it in my... I can't find the right English word to use.
Ba customer bolugezigezi.
Number one, do you believe that ba customer will gezi?
Je bali banji. Customer wolugezigezi, number one, you have to accept that they are the boss. Give them the sense of importance that they want. Simple.
Drop your ego for them.
Drop your ego for them. Because their clients, kandabe chino, leta na chino, chino. But the first thing is weka kanango omuntu and match their image. You'll still make the sale. And a very beautiful sale. Abolugezigezi nga balina sente. Wesooka osale pressure okakkane. And when something comes that triggers you, don't respond. Continue professionally as a salesperson. Yes.
You have quite a big team. And as I said, we have really quite a big team. And the biggest problem we have in Uganda right now in the business industry is dealing with human beings. HR is one. Actually, even factories all over of HR has become a very big. Yes. Let's talk about people management. How do you handle the team? How? When you set boundaries? When, like, at what point do you, I don't know, how do people management, I don't even have the right words to put it because it's a whole complicated thing. How do you train these people to know their boundaries, to stick to their work?
It's complicated, but every successful business has got rules. And it is simple. You can't follow the rules, you follow the dog. Yes.
Repeat this.
If you can't follow the rules, you follow the dog. Yes. So my team, I would like to proudly say they are confident, they are happy, because the environment must be favorable, because this generation is quite tricky. This generation, when you blame someone or when you try to correct someone, they don't fear to say, yes. So the first thing I have behind my mind is when you are with me, I make sure your welfare is good. You cannot take a hungry donkey to the farm. So they have food, they have breakfast, I give lunch. Then everybody has got their department. I do not put a workload on one person. Then number 3, we have to appreciate that not everyone will be an A performer. So sometimes someone is not doing it perfectly, but you have someone that is doing it perfectly. Don't force the other person to be like this person. Just know that it's teamwork that makes the dream work. Not everybody is going to be an A, but appreciate that if you have an A, you will have a B, you will have a C employee. And then regular meetings, you continuously remind them of their roles and responsibilities without compromising the rules of the business. Let them know that I am an asset here, but I can be checked out anytime. And you as an employer, you should also know that the job of constant recruiting is part of it. Have an open, you're always bringing in and letting out.
What's that one crazy, I think you've talked about it, but I'm not sure it's the one. What's one of the most crazy thing you've done for your business? In the business world since you started being at the top, what's that one crazy thing that you put there?
The craziest thing I had done, I think it's forcing hospitals to give me clients. That part, the business was going. I said, I'm a clients. To me, that was, whenever I sit down, I'm like, okay, fine. Yes, you're shrewd, but this part wasn't necessary. Yes.
Did you get the clients from them?
No, I didn't, because, for example, Naguru is a government hospital. And the people who usually visit that place because of free antenatal care. So you wouldn't really expect someone that is taking free antenatal care to have 500,000 to do shopping. You get what I'm saying? So it was mistargeting. I mistargeted, but I tried anyway. Yeah.
What has been your proudest moment as a businesswoman?
My proudest moment as a businesswoman is being able to scale my business. Being able to build my business to a point that I have different departments managed by different people and managed effectively.
When you talk about scaling, someone may not understand what scaling is, may not understand what putting systems and structures in place is. Elaborate it from Mutual wants you to understand what is scaling, this scaling thing. What is this thing of putting systems and structures in place?
Kati scaling kitegeeza okuzimba business that doesn't entirely depend on you to survive. Nti osobola okeera kumakya n'ofuna engagement of 2 weeks away and your sales do not drop. You don't have customer complaints. You don't have team complaints. Your phone can be off for a whole day for reason X, but business runs as usual. So for me, that has been the biggest achievement, where I know that I have someone doing sales, I have someone doing the marketing, because yes, I market, but I have someone doing marketing with me when I'm not there. Nobody is calling my phone of Jolie and they are not coming because Tori yo. Building my business to that level is the most fulfilling.
Wow. Yeah. Whom do you look up to in the business industry? Both the Canada and an international level before that?
My husband is my business mentor.
Wow.
Yes. I personally grew up in a family where they are employed. They are very educated and very employed. When we go for family functions, everyone stands and says, I am so and so, managing director, KCCA. I am so and so, a head of fraud, MTN. I am so and so. I am a lawyer attached to the White House. That's how they introduce themselves. And then I stand up, I'm like, I am Joanita Ken, omusuubuzi omututumufu e Kampala. So, so literally, my entire family is employed. We have no string or no line of business. Actually, when they look at me, balabira ddala nga tebantegeera navaako.
TikTok.
And they even screenshot my TikTok videos. They send, they're like, see, singo tabuse, you know. But then my husband comes from a background that is business oriented, everything. Basuzi, I don't think they have one employed person in their family. So he has done a very good job to hold my hand every time I say katika nonye CV yange chitabuse. He would still hold my hand and say no, correct here, correct there, correct there. And he has been a husband that has loved me very toughly. Newe chiba chikutwala nga ina milioni 5 ku account takuwa. Hey, you have to go through that. Ajja kuwa nga bitambula bulungi naye wekiba kikutwala tagenda kuwa.
Kuwanga bitambula bubbe. Lwaki kuwanga bitambula bulungi?
I appreciate what he has done. Singa mpadde nga bitambula bulungi, I don't think I would be as solid as I am now. Yes.
So he just comes in just to
nga birungi awajja bulungi naye nga bikutwala.
Let's talk about balance. Family, work, business, motherhood, leading a team.
That part, I will say, not easy. That one I accept 100%. Being a wife, being a mother, being a business person, leading a team. Surprisingly, you are a mother biologically, but you're also a mother to the employees, you know? Yes.
The people, Nina, the people who say that mother to employees, I could be amazon because I look at you as because the tonyongera those oluzungu efutekamu have to be nice, motherhood, what?
I cannot say that. Why? Njagala nzikirize nti God has lifted me, Santa. I am at a completely different level in life. And these children that are working with me are where I have been before. So sometimes tosobola kugamba nti omwana agenda kujja gy'oli. Some of them are mothers of one baby. Omwana jagugambe ndankubira essimu omwana bwelwadde naye siinaamu emitwalo 2. Honestly, Sandra, emitwalo 2 ku ggwe, does it reduce anything from you? N'omuwa emitwalo egyo 2 n'agisindikira omuntu amuleredde omwana na concentrating ku mulimu. So at that point, yes, we have to be strict, but we have to be human eventually. Yeah, so I am a mother waka ate I am a mother ku mulimu. Sijja kulaba omwana ono ali mu kumbeererawo because we need them and they need us. Sigenda kulaba mwana nga ali mu kumbeererawo ng'alina ekizibu kyemmanyi nti wenkisolvinga, it reduces absolutely nothing from me.
It enables her to compensate.
Thank you. Waali nange naliwooko, esente zemuwa nange nazifunako. So I know position gy'alimu. Yeah, so si byangu, but for me, before any religion that we are belonging to, I am a human. Yes.
So back to balance. How do you manage?
How do I manage? I am not Superman. I am not Superwoman. I'm not. How do I manage? I accepted that there is absolutely no reward in suffering. Teri agenda kumpaana nti ozuukuka ssaawa 10 n'ofumba n'otegeka abaana, teri agenda kumpaana. My mother just taught me get the help. Simple. So I have help. I have got at home I have got about 2 people that help me. So everybody has their roles and responsibilities. Yes, and at work I have people who help me. So I am not going to say I stayed up all night or I got so tired that I couldn't cook. No, I have the help that I need. Yes. So that is how I am able to balance that. Most of the times I do the supervision, but I don't
Business is spiritual.
Yeah.
Bagamba. In script zigata. You have to believe in something to do the business. In the business world, if you succeed, and I'm one of those people who believe that business is extremely spiritual. Just that the only difference is I believe that business is spiritual and I might have the Holy Spirit for. But we are different. What's your take on the small aspect of business is spiritual?
Business is spiritual for me in the sense that I believe so hard beyond reasonable doubt that I cannot fail because my creator did not really create me to fail. Simple. I will not say that I pray so much. I will not say that I fast so much. But one thing I know is that the one that created me made me very special. Like Ogmandino says, he says, there is no one in this world that can be who you are. And that makes me believe that when God was creating me, I'm different. Yes. So it is spiritual for me because I cannot fail. How?
I hear a little bit, Sasa. We could go on and on as we wind up, as we come to an end of this interview. I want you to talk about debts in business. Most people are taking, they take a lot of loans, they're taking loans. Some are taking loans to start businesses, some are in businesses. And because they're not patient enough to allow the businesses to grow organically, they've ended up a debt here and there. Is it okay for me to go and borrow 20 million and sink it in my whatever business after like 2-3 months you're starting the business?
No.
Why?
Only borrow, only take a loan when when you have confirmed that the business can pay this loan. Ask yourself, my business is 3 months, have your books straight. In 3 months, you should be able to know how much you are selling and how much profit you are making. Go take the loan of 20 million, find out what is my monthly installment. Then look at your business. If the math is not mathing, don't risk. Don't risk because there is nothing as stressful as working when you have to know you are working to pay the loan. So it is okay for you to take a loan when you are confident that the business you're taking the loan for can pay it. What does it mean? Already esente zibanga ziri mu business yo ziyina okuba nga zizaala essente looni zegenda okukola ki nti w'oleeta looni n'oyongeramu ate ogenda kuba okola times 2 z'obadde okola oba times 3. Yes.
Kategela banti Sasa. It was nice having you. Tell people how first they can support Sasa, what you do, what products you're dealing. If someone wanted to support, where can you find you? Okay.
So Sasa Babies and More, we are a baby shop and a children's store. We handle mothers from the time of conception. So byonna bye weetaaga nga weeteekateekera okuzaala regarding shopping ya maama, shopping y'omwana, tubiina both mom and newborn. And even when your baby is right here, we have got the clothes that we are going to give your child. Tugenda mu designinga okuviira ddala waneeno ku newborn papa ku myaka 10. Our physical location, Namugongo Sonde Stretch after Sky Plaza, but we have a standby delivery service. We wookubira essimu n'ogamba sisobodde kujja muleete nga tukituukako. Yes, then also we have the section of the Sasa bells. We sell endibota, what we call endibota in Luganda. Those are thrifted clothes from the second-hand section. So we have 2 programs in there. Yes, we sell, but we also do business mentorship. We sell to you nothing if we haven't mentored you into how to move this journey. So those are the 2 that you can support Sasa Babies and More with.
We shall be putting the contacts down in case you need any help, any covers, any mentorship regarding starting the thrifted business, but only in the children's sector, right?
No, we thrift from men, women, household and children. But Sasa babies, and more specifically, it is children.
Oh, yes. Your final cutting shots, anything. Brand, it could be an advice, it could be a story, it could be anything. Akatareke katu per business person or an entrepreneur who is watching us.
Akatalekeka, business is beautiful, very beautiful. If you want to kuchikuba very fast and very confidently, then business is the way to go. But have a business mentor. Have a business mentor. Without a business mentor, I guarantee you nothing is going to work, because this journey is quite different from how we are raised. From the time you were birthed, your mother was there instructing you here and there. You went to primary school, you responded to the bells and to the timetables. It's now break time, it's now lunch time, it's now dormitory time. You went to the university, you were given a timetable. Time X, you're supposed to be in class. Time Y, you have class 2. Weekend, you have this. And then you come to the real world where you're employed. Because we go to school basically to be employed. When you're employed, it is the same system. Your employer tells you, check in by 8 a.m. You cannot leave until it is 5 p.m. Naye no mu business biralamu. Biralamu. You're going to be able to program yourself. So it simply means you require a certain degree of discipline. And on top of that, discipline plus a good mentor, you're good to go.
Bamenta tubasanga, is a shame for these no letters.
Bamenta tubasanga. Our mentors are within our very community. First of all, find out what you are doing. And then from what you are doing, find someone that inspires you. Obesibeko. Kuba gwasinga okubeetaawo.
But most mentorship spaces today, they are for paying for. And we are a generation of people who don't want to pay for knowledge. I don't understand why people don't want to pay for knowledge, but there are mentorship spaces that you can get into and they would change your life and change your business.
Yes.
But people don't want to pay for knowledge. What's that?
Anything free is not worth it.
Okay.
Yes. Invest in your personal growth. Invest in the person that you are becoming. Without kusaba emitwalo 5, gyeteekemu, because to become a better person, olina okuba a person in the value. Ngenda kozesa eno example. We have all been given flyers for free.
Yeah.
You're passing somewhere, ne bakukwasa flyer. People have given you business cards. I want you to show me where you keep that stuff. Ekintu nga bakikuweeredde bwereere, oli n'amaanyi ge yataddemu gonna okukikola n'akikuwa. Some of you ne we bakakuweeredde we batu oyita kwakakuwadde ng'okasuula. Are we together? Naye omuntu agula newspaper nga ya nusu 1,000 n'omusanga nga yazistaakinga mu nnyumba ye zaggwa nako, they don't even have the hope of reading that information again. N'abagamba temukwata ku mawulire gange ago, because they invested. So that is how important an investment is. Woba otaddemu akasente ogenda okuyiga ng'ogenze kukola ki? Kuyiga. Bwe bakuyita ekyobwerere tekigenda kuyamba, because you have absolutely no value attached to it. So if you want free mentorship, gyezire ku YouTube, ku TikTok, ku platforms nyingi. But one thing I have observed, era wogendayo nga bakikuweeredde bwereere, ogenda kiraba okirekaawo. Naye ekintu ky'ogenda ogamba nti nataddemu 5 gyange, nataddemu 10 lyange, ogenda kulaba nga kizza amagoba.
Guys, she's a wise woman. I try and look for her. She could go on, like we can sit here the whole day, we could go on and go on. But every good thing comes to an end, and we come to the end of this podcast. Just tell those guys to subscribe to Diaries of an Entrepreneur and watch.
Okay, Diaries of an Entrepreneur. It is a YouTube channel. Gwe na business person ngoyagala bya bwerere kubanga subscribe ya bwerere. Subscribe to Diaries of an Entrepreneur by Sandra Pichirize and From there osobola okumanya lwaki we tuteekayo mentorship program ojja kweteekamu akasente ojje tulabe.
All right. Thank you so much, Sasa, for allowing to have this conversation with us on such a beautiful day. There were so many, there is so much wisdom. Whoever is going to watch this podcast actually is going to get free mentorship. For me, what stood out is that three major business mistakes that people make. I think for me that really stood out, and it kind of hit home. I think I'm a victim, and I'm with. But I want to go and calculate. Does my rent, is it 10% of my profit or my gross? I need to go and really calculate that and I see. But thank you so much for allowing us to post you. Guys, subscribe, share the link. Until next time, bye-bye. Behind the camera, we have Enoch, the last doctor in himself. If you have a wedding, if you have a birthday photo shoot, if you have graduation, please reach out. The number is in the bio. Bye-bye. Until next time.
Until next time.